Welcome back to episode 12 of Off the Charts, on the charts, everywhere around the charts.
Off the Charts podcast.
Off the charts, yeah, sorry.
I was just checking the names on the cards.
Yeah. So, I was going to reintroduce myself. Hi, I'm Arshad. It's good to meet you. This intro is really bad. I think we should start again. What the fuck am I saying, bro?
I'm going to keep it in. Let's roll with it.
Sorry.
Nothing is perfect.
Feeling a bit lost this morning. I feel like Jay and I both might be feeling a bit lost. But yeah, it's been a very, very promising week for the markets. The market is kind of back to its old self. A bit ridiculous in a lot of ways.
Old self, it's like worse or better than COVID self.
Yeah, it's a rally that I don't think even we saw in COVID, like the bounce from pivot lows 12% now.
In COVID, we had a reason. This time, there was no reason.
Yeah.
So what happened? Yes, we sold off because of the war situation, but that was not a major trigger. Market just wanted to pull back. It pulled back and freaking rally. Insanity. Yeah. I was SPY, no exhaustion squeeze, nothing. Just continued even after the all-time high gap up. Still continuation move. I wasn't expecting that.
No, not at all. I think we probably had a little bit too much bias, especially seeing how aggressive the bounce was. I think in the last podcast we mentioned that I think it would make sense for SPY to maybe pull back a bit, fill the gap, because there's a huge gap, right, from the day that I think the ceasefire was announced.
Yeah,
a huge gap up that is yet to be filled, and historically speaking, SPY always tends to fill its gaps. So yeah, it was very unexpected, and I feel like going into the week itself, we probably had a bit of a bias where we weren't expecting too much the following week, because last week as well, before that, we had a big move already, and then to expect another big move on top of that was fairly unexpected.
And plus, I thought that we have the earnings season coming in. Next week, Tesla reports earnings. This week, the past week, Netflix reported earnings, and we have the big tech stocks reporting earnings. So maybe that might be the reason for sell-off, because earnings, I don't think so they are going to get affected. But again, maybe a news catalyst to fill the gap, but the gap is way down.
It's far away now.
It's
I don't think we're going to fill this gap for a while, at least, unless there's some major global black swan event, because the gap's a long way away now.
Yeah, it's a long way away. It's like 10% or 8% drop.
Probably.
So it's going to be another correction. Market needs another correction from this point to fill the gap.
Yeah.
So again, gap fill is basically a technical sort of setup. The gap should be filled, but that's another example of market can be irrational than you can
longer
remain
than
solvent.
You can say liquid, or solvent.
Liquid, solvent or whatever. And this was crazy experience for the market. And we both were talking about this. I asked him in the car while driving here, do you want my usual, I feel like shit at the moment, and do you want my shit self on the podcast, or do you want me to pretend to be the happy self? So what is your answer?
Well, my answer is, I feel like pretending to be happy is just sort of unreal again.
Yeah, I'm not sad, just frustrated with my performance. We talked about that in the last podcast as well. And this week, especially looking at social media, how social media fucks with your head. We have talked about that, and especially with me as well, even with this much experience and this much time on social media, being a trading influencer, it has fucked with my head. I have been seeing a lot of P&Ls online, people who have made bank in the past 2 or 3 weeks.
I mean, it was a market where I feel like if our confidence wasn't beaten up over the last 6 months, I feel like we both could have had probably 50K, 100K weeks.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, and it was there. Yeah. The opportunity was there. And
the price action was the best of our career, I would say. Since 2020, it was the best price action.
It's been a long time since we've seen price action like this.
Yeah, and in 2020, and we have had our biggest weeks are 100K, 150K. And if we were in the zone, this week would have been 200K, 300K, maybe even 500K in the zone.
Yeah.
Trading well with high confidence. That's another kind of discipline check for us to take a back seat when the market is not moving that nice, because market, yes, I am at fault as well. I talked about that. The market has changed forever. AI agents have taken over. But yeah, this market is this is the old market.
All these subconscious biases that we sort of create. Of course, the market does go in phases and it does have these moments. And we were sort of trying to give reasons as to why has it become so shit. But at the end of the day, it's still going to move, and it's going to move, and it's going to be shit when it's going to be shit. That's just how the market is. And I guess it's a bit of a learning for us as well. Just knowing not to presume things or have these biases or start convincing ourselves that, oh my God, the market's dead, it's done. We need to sort of build that resilience a bit more, a little tougher skin when it comes to passing through the tougher phases, because I think this has been probably the longest phase before last week, obviously, that the market was shit for such a long time.
Yeah.
Because 2022 was bad. We had a bear market, but at least you still had like maybe 3 weeks of shit action, 1 week of good action, 3 weeks of shit action, 1 week of good action. And that was that cycle. But this last cycle was like almost like 6 months of just trash.
Yeah, since November last year, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, basically. Yeah.
So you really we really need to work on like building that spine and like trusting the process on some level, where it's a phase, it's going to pass, and it did pass. At least last week it felt like it did, and hopefully it continues that way. But getting into the week per se, there were a lot of good setups. I think in the last podcast, I said that semis are at all-time highs, and I'm expecting semis to continue to be hot. And I think they were hot to an extent because the entire market was hot.
Semis
but I don't
were
think
already near all-time highs.
Yeah.
But the oversold stock, the mega caps, the oversold, the big tech, the Max 7 stocks, Amazon, Microsoft. Amazon also had a rally the last week.
Yeah.
Last week and last to last week. But basically Microsoft.
All
I
of
made
them.
nice
Microsoft,
money on it.
Meta, Apple, all of them, Tesla obviously, all of them moved spectacularly. And there were plays pretty much almost, I would say, every single day of the week.
And one thing I want to share is that I'm going to share two things. First, Friday's recap. So yesterday's recap. I went red off the open. I don't even remember the trades I took. I took I think MU was a break-even trade. I lost money on Tesla. Eventually, I made it back on Tesla. So I was down like 5-6K, and then I made back and I was green 5.1K, something like that. But it's so frustrating, and that has been the theme for the past 2-3 weeks. I go red the first 30, 40, 45 minutes, and then I make it back. I go red, and then I make it back. Why not just wait for those setups? But it's not about waiting for 15 minutes, 5 minutes, because when I drill down, opening drives are also there. It's working out. And it's not like having a rule not to trade the first 5 minutes, because when I am in the zone, I don't need these rules to dictate my trading. My intuition is in check. I am in the zone and I kind of have that intuition. This play is going to work out off the open. This might actually take 30, 45 minutes. So my intuition was like, because the market is extended, we are going to consolidate off the open. I mentioned that in the Discord as well. And then we are going to go up. But it's all about like when are we going to go up? So I wait like 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. So that's the thing, right? If you set a time duration, I won't touch the market for the first 15 minutes. Trust me, in the next like from 9:30 to 9:45, you won't touch the market. Then you will have that mental switch.
Yeah.
I'm good to go now. I stuck to my rules.
And then you will
execute from 9:45 to 9:50 a.m. and reach your max stop loss.
Yeah.
That's what's been happening with me. I'm not taking trades off the open, but I'm like, okay, I haven't taken a trade for 5 minutes. I stuck to my rule. It's all good to go. Execute. Yeah. There's nothing to execute on. Just execute.
Yeah.
And even if you look at Friday's price action on Tesla from 9:30 to 10 a.m., 5 minutes chart was doji, wiki, washy, shitty price action. Then it got a lot better. You could actually see it. Okay, now something is happening. We tested R3. Again, forget about the technicals. Just the pure candlestick and the sentiment shifted after 10:10. The volume started to come in slowly. And that was the start of the move. We closed nice on the 5 minute chart. Forget about the camera levels, R3, R6, whatever. Forget about everything. It's just the pure price action. We reclaimed back about the VWAP. Nice close on the 5 minutes, freaking rallied.
Yeah.
And I was able to catch that move. Again, I entered my premiums. I took Monday expiry contracts. I think 3.4 was my fill. And my maximum premiums went to like 8.5, 8.9. So I covered, I actually we both held on to our partial. But again, I took like 100 contracts.
Yeah.
And my first 50 contracts exit was from I entered at 3.8 or 3.6, something like that. My first 50 contracts exit was at 4.3. Or I think my entry was at 2.8. Yeah, my entry was at 2.8. Yeah, something like that. I took like next Monday expiry, 410 calls if I'm not wrong. Or 405 calls.
Must have been 405.
Yeah, must be 405.
Yeah.
So 2.8, my first exit was at 3.4 and the premiums went to $8. So that 100 contracts, 50K trade.
Yeah.
But that again, I'm red for the day. That mindset, just like I posted the unscripted video as well. In that unscripted video, I posted. So that was the first thing I talked about. Friday has been repeating the past 2 weeks. And another kind of lesson for all the traders out there, I posted that Microsoft video, unscripted video. I made like 8K, 8.5K, whatever. And I felt my worst after that trade. After like 2 hours, after posting that unscripted video, reviewing the charts, I was like, I traded like shit. even after making that much money, if it was only about the money, I should have felt like nice, amazing, euphoria. But no, I felt like shit. I told you as well, like I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And that kind of just nosedived my trading after that. It was just like FOMO kind of trading, because at Microsoft, again, with 100 contracts, the premiums went from 1.8 to like $6-7. And it's again not catching the top or bottom or top of the market. It's just about sticking to your exit criteria. And we all told you guys that ATR move on Microsoft would have been like a 50K trade for me. I made 8.5K.
Yeah.
So my first 50 contracts, my first 50% partials, it's like very early.
Yeah.
I don't know, just lock in. So that mindset of surviving and not thriving, that survival mindset is kind of killing our trading. And I think that's what you also feel.
Yeah, to a large extent. I feel the way I trade is particularly because I know my personality. I can tend to get very uncomfortable if I'm in a large position and I don't take profit. So I know myself well enough. So like my criteria is that I will exit 50% on the first pop, but the remaining 50% I need to hold it, and that is my rules. But I didn't even do that. Like on Tesla on Friday, again I was also red. In the first 30-40 minutes, I was red like I think 7K. Stupidly trading, I think MU. It was a good setup.
Yeah, you tried shorting Tesla as well.
I tried shorting Tesla,
and that's what just looking for plays. If
I was looking for plays.
You look at the higher time frames. Your rational mind is like, it's gonna consolidate and push up.
Yeah,
and you're trying to short it during that consolidation.
Just waiting 2 minutes out and like thinking about what I was doing in that moment, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not blaming you. It's like I'm doing the same thing.
No, it's not about I'm taking accountability for my stupidity.
Yeah.
Like I know if I just waited 2 minutes to like actually rationalize what I was doing, I was clearly forcing trades. So I put myself in a hole as well, and then I was down maybe 7K, and then the real opportunity actually came up, and I was in a very nicely sized position. I think I was in 140 cons of the same 405 Monday expiries, and my entry was around 398 on Tesla.
Okay.
And I held it to the 400 break. I saw the pullback, and I exited like I think 75% of my position.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was just a perfect retest of 400, and in our healthy mindset, in our positive mindset, that was a good ad.
It was a great ad.
Broke above 400, retest of 400.
Yeah.
It actually just touched 400, pushed it back up.
And I don't understand, like, again, going back in hindsight, I think I was red for the day. I wanted to maybe just go back to like green for the day, and all these factors just, it's all self-made. Like there's realistically no reason. The price action is saying hold, and it's about time that we sort of move out of the survival mindset. I get it. It made sense for the last 6 months, but with the market dynamic shifting, and we're sort of seeing days better than we've probably ever seen before. And a lot of price action on a lot of stocks is really, really clean. So I think it's about time we sort of lock in with earnings coming up next week.
Tesla hasn't been this clean in like the past 2 days on Wednesday and Friday's price action. It hasn't been this clean in I would say like a year or maybe even 2 years, the upside momentum.
Probably not.
Even like after the election, that's what this rally was. And then yes, we have had few nice green days, but not as clean as these past 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Thursday price action was shit, consolidation day, kind of big green bar, consolidation, then next green bar. But the sentiment on the tape, every pullback is getting bought back up until the ATR, more than the ATR move. Every pullback, you see a low volume pullback, insane. Like 395 holds, push towards the upside. 400 holds, push towards the upside. 405 holds, push towards the upside. We have been seeing the same thing, really good price action. And honestly, I don't know what has happened in the past 6 months, that survival mindset. Again, it's not about making money, but it's like difficult to change that switch from survival to thriving mindset. Thrival is not a word, but from surviving to thriving mindset is like you are trading not to make money, but not to lose money.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. I talk about this a lot. Like when you are trading, I would say 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I think August was our biggest, like a really good month for us because we went for a vacation as well. August, September, whatever. And that mindset was like you are trading to make money. You're seeing things clearly, making money. But now it's like you enter the position, take profits because you are trading not to make money, but not to lose money. You're just like, I don't want to lose on this trade. It's not like how much you can make on this trade. You're like, I just don't want to lose on this trade, which is not the right mindset.
So, I think we know what needs to get fixed. It's just about actually getting down to it and trusting the setups more, whether that involves maybe not going max position size and just sort of giving yourself room to breathe, trusting the setup more. And secondly, it's also just being more patient. We're letting the setups come to you because the setups do exist. They very much do exist. We can see it on almost every stock from our usual universe. At least one setup was there on each stock through the week. So the setups are there. It's just about waiting for it, not putting yourself in that mental hole. Because I feel like realistically, even if we didn't abuse our accounts in the first 30 minutes of the market open, I feel like we would have executed really well if we just waited that out.
Yeah, that's why the opening drive plays are not working. There are no opening drive plays.
They are working. That's the thing, right? They are working sometimes, but I guess at the open, you need to be a little stricter with your stop, not give it that much room. And later on, you need to trust the price action more.
I can think about Tesla on Wednesday when Tesla started that push up. It happened. It started around the first 9:45, 9:50 a.m. First 15, 20 minutes was consolidation. Then we rallied.
Yeah.
Leroy actually executed really
Very
well. Yeah. So we have a pro trader in the Discord community, Leroy. He entered right around there after and then I was looking at his entries. It's I would have entered around 365, covered my position at 370. He started his position at 370. Caught a move all the way 390, 395, something like that. Insanity. And so that also move started after the first 15, 20 minutes. Yesterday on Friday when it moved, the move started after the first 1 hour, basically. 45 minutes of the market open. So the opening drive plays, I think, work out when the market has seen a consolidation.
In the pre-market.
But because the market is extended already now, so you kind of consolidate, you grab the buyers, you try to grab the short-term short sellers. Like you tried shorting it, a lot of people tried shorting it. It's extended, and then it reclaims back above 400. It grabs the short-term sellers as well and the long-term sellers who sold their positions, who are short near 400 because Tesla is going to go down to 200, 250. They're going to get stopped out.
Yeah.
So all these traders, then you see this momentum push towards the upside. And I think, honestly, I don't want to have this mindset. I was about to say that Tesla is going to be shit now, but we have earnings.
Yeah.
So Monday, Tuesday, it's better to stay away from the stock. Even if you trade Monday, you can trade Monday expiry, or Friday is going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we can't trade. Friday expiry premiums are going to be shit. And then Wednesday, we have the earnings after close. So Monday, we can see if the play sets up the daily bar on Tesla. We are going to do the on the charts section as well. I just saw that daily close around 401, I think. 400, 401. So it's not a really good
probably
close.
Be a bit of a doji.
So I don't want to say that Tesla is not going to do anything. The market has moved a lot because every time I think about that, that's just my personal bias. I thought that the market is not going to move 5 days ago and I missed out on freaking $1 million. Probably. So I don't want to have this bias that market is extended. We're going to get shitty price action. No, because if you think that the market is going to have shitty price action, you're like, I'm going to lose money.
Yeah.
That same mindset. What do you think?
No, I agree. I don't want to have too much of a bias going into any week going forward. Monday, I think, is realistically the only day we could trade Tesla. But again, that would be zeros. So I'm not too sure if that's something that I would be interested in. It really depends on where it's at, what it's doing in the pre-market.
Yeah, I think Monday it might actually break down under 400, maybe a short-term selling, but it won't be good.
It's not a playbook. A plus, I wouldn't say on the daily. It wouldn't make
better to
too
stay
much
away.
sense.
I think the semis still look decent because they have been consolidating.
All things considered, MU still does look great on the day. We can get to this on the charts segment.
Podcast, yeah.
But I think just going into the next week, it's best to not have too many assumptions on what is going to happen or not going to happen. What I would love to happen is the market is now above all-time high, the prior all-time high. So maybe if we get a really nice pullback to the prior all-time high, that could be enough for the next leg up.
Yeah.
On a pure price action point of view, I think that would look good on the daily time frame, on the weekly time frame, on the high time frames, essentially. A good spot to load up for new buyers.
Yeah. And what I feel like, we talked about that two podcasts ago, one or two in the last podcast, that we are not giving enough time to trading. Since then, I have been giving a lot of time to trading. I'm journaling and everything. But I think that is what is causing the analysis paralysis thing. It's you're giving too much time to something. I don't know how to find this freaking balance because at this point, there's no technicals here. Yeah. I know what I need to do. We have enough experience.
Yeah.
It's just about doing it. We are not able to do it. So yes, that feeling of going into the market prepared, it's there, but we are just not able to stick to our rules, or not even rules, stick to and get that intuition feeling. And that's what I think, because I feel like the time I am devoting to trading at this point is a lot more than people who are making a lot more money than me, which means that they are working less for more. I'm working a lot more for barely anything. So I feel like that mindset needs to shift, and I think it's going to shift. It's it has to shift.
It's okay. The market moves in cycles. We as humans also move in cycles. It's you're not always going to be on the top of your game, and that's totally normal. But we are well aware of this, and if you're also going through something similar, you just need to be aware of it. That's step one, and then you need to make actionable steps to sort of just do better.
Yeah, my CDI scores are also down. So we can't talk a lot more about that, but VEXA, we talked about that. So that's another thing. But again, I don't think so VEXA is affecting. It's something that actually motivates us that after a big red day or after performing like shit, it actually motivates us to work on something else and build something else.
Yeah, and that's always fun. With that, we can sort of migrate into VEXA a little bit.
And then we can back on the charts.
Yeah.
So, it's a good pivot. So Arshad, he actually worked on the iPad and the Android tablet app. And iPad app, provided that there are a lot of bugs within the first, he developed that app in 4 or 5 days.
I would say more like 2 days, but we had the baseline structure.
We had the
pretty
baseline
much
structure.
set up.
If you do it from scratch, it's going to take a few weeks.
A lot longer. I remember when we built the iOS mobile app, Android app, and the web app. I don't know if I'm giving away too much, but when we built the infrastructure for the 3 platforms, the 3 base platforms, I remember that took at least a good 2-3 months to get dialed down. But again, now we have a lot of the components sort of ready. The backend is all ready. So it's just about making something that's all linked up and looks good. And I'm proud to say that the iPad app, I feel, now looks even better than the iOS mobile app. So maybe
it's a lot more functional. It's like the web app in the iPad app, which is a native application. It's freaking amazing. I love it. Yes, we have to optimize it a lot. Like
a few
simple
things.
Simple things.
Because I haven't obviously had the time to thoroughly test it yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like just from phase 1, I would say it's a solid implementation. I think the beta users are also enjoying the experience.
And honestly, I buy my iPad. I have the iPad Pro 11-inch, the M4. Before that, I had the 2020 model iPad Pro 12.9-inch. I buy iPad just for trading journal. I like my iPad because I just like journaling on the iPad. And that's why I told Arshad, a lot of people in the beta servers, they are also like, we use our iPad. We like iPads for journaling. And journaling, and basically what VEXA is. VEXA is journaling is the level 1 of VEXA. I have 5 levels. So you will know more about that. But we like iPad for doing our trading stuff. And that's why the trading stuff is more important, because VEXA is not only the journal, because that is the level 1 of VEXA, which was honestly built within the first 1 week of VEXA.
Probably, yeah.
And we have been working on it for the past 6 months. So I'm telling you, it's level 1. So when I say journal, it's the level 1, because we need that data to provide
actionable insights
of what VEXA actually is, because we need that data. So that is level 1, and journal was honestly done within the first 3 days of VEXA launch. I remember. The VEXA, when we started working on it. Last year in October, he showed me, and it was the journal part was done within the first 3 days.
What's next?
It was done within the first 3 days. But it's a lot more than that, because it's not like we have been working on it for the past 7-8 months now. And basically, so my point was, so my favorite app, my favorite device to journal and work on my trading, developing my playbook, and also a lot of stuff that we can't talk about at the moment. But I'm pretty sure next podcast, we will be at a lot more liberty to talk more about.
We should be at a pre-launch stage.
Yeah, pretty much. So we will be launching, I think, mid-May or end of May, max. Yeah. So that's the goal. And my favorite device, again, is the iPad. And now the iPad app is actually amazing. So
VEXA, now availably. Wow, what's wrong with me?
What's happening with us?
VEXA, now available natively on the iPad.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I think we both are working. It's actually really good what we are working on. And I think it's amazing. Once you use it, you will see that it's such an insane idea that actually is so usable. And I feel like the whole industry, there's nothing like this out there. You can compare whatever. There's nothing like this out there. Even if you search, there's nothing like this out there. There's nothing. It's not even comparison. Yes, the level 1, as I said, there are a lot more journals.
Yeah.
But what we have built, level 1 was done in 3 days. But the past 7 months, we have built a lot of things on top of it. And there is nothing like this out there. I just can't say anything more, but I am too eager to show you guys the app and everything. And that's going to come in the next 2 weeks, I would say. But that is something that diverts our mind, because we are building something. We have built something from scratch. And this excitement of waking up, because earlier, my personal experience, and I think I can say this for you as well, on your behalf, that earlier when you underperform in trading or you have a red day, the next morning you wake up, you're watching TV shows, binge watching, eating like shit, feeling like shit, rinse and repeat. This time around, even after a red day or an underperforming day, the next day I wake up, I'm working on VEXA.
Yeah.
So do you also feel that
No,
like you have
absolutely,
something else to work on?
Yeah, you have renewed purpose outside of trading, because trading is obviously it's locked into your trading hours, and outside of that, let's say even if you spend 2 hours journaling, you still have like 6 hours in the day. Even if you go to the gym, that's another 2 hours. You still have 4 hours in the day where you just do nothing, right? So it's a very productive use of time. It's a very fulfilling use of time, knowing that you're building something that's bigger than yourself, something that could potentially help a lot of traders out there. And I think, and this is actually really, really sort of one of my insights from building VEXA itself, is I feel really good because when I have tougher days with trading, a lot of my experience with trading and like things are like, fuck, like I should have done this better. How could I have done this better? And that's a lot of, because I go through those sort of moments, those bring me like great ideas as well. On like, when I question it, how can I do this better? That's like an idea of what I can implement into VEXA. And like a lot of VEXA's ideas, I feel like have come from that, where it's like, I could have done this better. Who's keeping me in check?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's one feature that we have refined. We have pivoted that feature. I'm not talking more about that. But it's going to be insane. Like, it's actually whether you are in the zone or you're not in the zone, it's going to tell you based on a lot of other things as well. Like, it's like, I want to say everything, but I can't say it. It's like, but it's insanity. Like that idea itself is something that hasn't been done ever before. And I actually got this idea from reading trading psychology books. If my favorite book, if you have been following me on my YouTube, on my Instagram for a while, my favorite trading psychology and the trading psychologist is Dr. Brett Steenbarger. I have listened to his The Daily Trading Coach book, listened on Audible like more than 15 times now. He has a new book. I can actually show you. So I'm not kidding. Like, I'm just going to open Audible in front of you. This is what I was listening to in the morning. Dr. Brett Steenbarger, his new book. I think this was released like a few months ago or maybe in 2025. In the chapter 1 itself, we have implemented that feature. He recommends doing that, and we have implemented that feature. So you can listen to chapter 1.
You know what the feature is.
Yeah. No. But it's like chapter 1 is huge. But even if you listen to chapter 1, you won't get the idea that the feature we have implemented. But it's insanity. Like, a lot of people, the trading psychologist, the best books out there, they all say that you should do this, you should do that. And before VEXA, and now VEXA is going to be the first one, there was no way to do it. But now you get a really easy way to do it. And you can actually see the results, how your body affects your trading, basically. That's all I'm going to say. How your body affects your trading.
Fair.
Yeah. So coming back to Dubai, let's talk about Dubai. What's happening in Dubai now?
Well, our Lord and Savior, President Donald J. Trump, he has...
the manipulator, PLTR, to the
moon.
Manipulator,
I mean, through yesterday's market, of course, it has to be during market open. Why else would it not be during market open? Announced, I think, what seems like a ceasefire, not a ceasefire, like a deal was reached.
The opening of the
Strait of Hormuz. Iran has agreed to some terms with regards to...
That's the thing, market factored that in already. It's
irrational, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, Hormuz was open before the market was shit. For the past 6 months, the market was shit. Yeah. Strait of Hormuz was open.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, the past 6 months, before the war, it was open. The market was shit.
Yeah.
Now, market factored that in, that it's like ceasefire, everything is gonna open. It opened, market sees a new all-time high, gaps up and more all-time high. So yeah, if you try to make sense of nonsense things, you're gonna go mad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to make nonsense sense. I sound nonsense now, but it's just about capitalizing on the opportunities. But talking about that,
going back to Dubai. So the deal was reached. I specifically with regards to Dubai, I think even before the deal was reached, since the ceasefire was announced, which was maybe last week, I think. We started seeing traffic back in Dubai at all points in the day. We both live next to, I don't know if I should disclose the location, but we live like close to Trade Center. That's fair. So the roundabout that is always packed is now packed again. It wasn't packed for a long time when the entire war was going on. So we're seeing traffic coming back into Dubai. My wife has, I think, work is officially starting from the coming Monday. School's starting again from the coming Monday, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So life as we know it in Dubai, and I'm assuming the entire Middle East, is going back to normal. Um, Again, this is just knowledge I have from my wife. I think business is sort of popping back. Business sort of demand. A lot of projects are being rebuilt because of the damage that was caused to a lot of Western infrastructure. So things are very much going back to normal. Life as we know it. It's almost like it was a dream. It was the last 3 months was just a dream, and like these things never actually happened, and now it's phasing back into reality.
Yeah, it's bouncing back. Dubai is bouncing back aggressively, but I think the consequences are going to be a bit more long term. But people who actually live and work in Dubai, it won't affect, like it won't feel that much of a big difference. People who left, they are coming back now. But for the overseas investors, they are going to be a bit more skeptical, and they're going to think twice or thrice before investing in Dubai, which is going to get better as time progresses, time heals everything. But yeah, I mean, Dubai is pretty much bouncing back really quickly as well. Like within last week, we talked about moving to US. This week, it's like everything is why do you want to go to US? It's like everything is normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, within a week, everything changed, and we can actually see the traffic from our windows and balconies and everything. And the traffic is actually coming back, which is what I hate. That is one thing I loved about the war, that the traffic was pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
The traffic is back and the heat is coming back. So it feels a lot hotter now in Dubai. This morning was the first time I took my dog for a walk. I actually took her a bit later, 10:30. I actually felt like, okay, it's getting really hot.
Yeah. The sun's beating down. I want to go back to the day, that specific Tuesday, I think at Tuesday 8 p.m., where Trump and Iran were like, okay, if a deal's not reached, we are going to like destroy Iran.
Yeah.
If you remember that night.
Mass genocide.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I like just reliving that night where I was like talking to family who was in Dubai and like family who's not in Dubai. They were all like worried. They're like, oh shit, like if this deal's not reached, Iran's going to go crazy, or like the US is going to go crazy and destroy everything. And going back to that night versus like how it was, I feel like it was a very rational fear to have at the time. But again, like I'm like, it just feels like it was a dream.
But again, do you think the war is like over, or it's still?
I don't know. Like I'm very curious for the deal's specifications to actually be announced, because Trump he claimed the entire time that this is going to revolutionize the world for the next however long, right? The Middle East is now going to be a peaceful sort of area. It's always been peaceful, if you ask me. I don't know what's actually changed. I don't know what the negotiations came to with regards to the deal. But if it's genuinely going to sort of keep the peace in the Middle East for the foreseeable future, then I'd imagine like the Middle East countries are going to bounce back even harder than before, and with like real estate prices and becoming a business hub for Western companies, AI infrastructure. I would imagine if this deal is legitimate, then the Middle East is going to have an even larger boom than it was before.
Yeah.
But again, it's impossible to say right now without knowing the details of that deal that was reached.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, life feels normal at the moment. As something changes, we have our options open. US is open. Like we have a few visas and everything. We sorted a lot of things. So we know the process, how to move our dogs and everything. So we just gained a lot of knowledge from this process.
Yeah.
So if in future, if you want to travel with the dogs or anything, we know the process now. Talking about boom, we can now talk about the boom in AI. So Opus 4.7 was released day before yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you haven't used it that much.
I haven't used it that much. I set up one task to run overnight because I'd already created like a 20-page doc on like a very detailed prompt. And Opus 4.7 was supposed to be extremely good at following detailed instructions. But
prompt for what?
For migrating the entire iPad implementation, because I had taken like a solid 2-3 days to go page by page, refining every single thing on the iPad app. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to basically replicate that for Android tablet. So it was in detail. It was a very detailed markdown file, 20-pager with exact references of what to change on the Android file, what not to change, what backend to link where. And I diligently spent 2 days making sure that this file was perfect. And of course, I used Opus 4.7. I was so optimistic. I was like, holy shit, the what's it called? The stats. Yeah. The agentic coding scores on Opus 4.7 are the park. I was very optimistic, and it did do it. But it definitely missed out a lot of things. A lot of like one page in specific, I spent a good like 6 hours making sure it was perfect. but it just skipped it. It didn't do it for some reason.
Yeah,
I
I actually
understand.
feel like I told you as well, I sent him a few screenshots. So I also have a skill, like what I'm working on, marketing side of VEXA. I have a
That's
skill.
very good story.
I have a skill. Like I started abusing Opus. I have a skill with defined rules, explicit rules not to do that and do this. This morning as well, it repeated the same thing. It's like a skill file, markdown file. It has all the rules that this is what you follow the brand profile. The text should be this, everything should be this, and everything should be consistent.
Sorry, just one thing I want to clarify. Opus 4.7 is supposed from Anthropic itself. They said that it's supposed to be extremely good at following every single instruction you give it.
Yeah.
Now you can continue.
And after that, it's like literally, I was like, okay, you created something, it doesn't stick to that rule. So I asked Opus, can you check if there is a rule in the markdown file to not to do this? Opus is like, yes, I did not follow it. And I sent you that screenshot. I was like,
it literally
what?
said that.
Yes, there is a rule. And then after like 2-3 messages, same thing again. I forgot about that. I missed it. The rule, I missed it. So I actually feel Opus 4.7 is like a step downgrade from 4.6.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And 4.6, when 4.6 was released, it was really good.
Yeah.
And then slowly it goes downhill from here because they are devoting the resources and the thinking power to the newer models. And I feel like 4.7 should be the smartest it's ever going to be, because then it's going to go downhill and then hopefully we get the Mythos or whatever. But it's so dumb. Like 4.7 is so bad.
I don't know why it's just not following instructions. Like it's quite ridiculous, to be honest. Open 4.6 I feel was like better than this for sure.
Yeah.
But
going back to 4.6, I think it's going to be worse than 4.7 now, because they're devoting all their
resources
power,
to 4.7.
resources basically. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Resources to 4.7. So I feel like 4.6 is also not a good option. We just have to keep refining the workflow so that 4.7 gets better. And even Anthropic, I think they know about it with all the Reddit reviews and everything. It's not only me. A lot of people are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
A few people, it's good at a few workflows. It's a completely different, I would say, revamped model. It's
there's a different way to like use it essentially, and they had announced the entire documentation of like how to use Opus 4.7 versus how you were using Opus 4.6 in the past, for example. It's different, and it's not like we didn't read that documentation. We both went through the entire documentation that they put out, and we sort of changed our sort of way of prompting as well. But it's still not. It's not doing the job it's supposed to do.
Yeah, prompting, like it's not about prompting. I have a skill file, so I should like just be like follow that file and do this.
Because the skill file was detailed as it is. It's not like it was vague. It gave specific instructions, specific rules, what to do, what not to do. But it's just questionable.
Questionable, yeah. So I am not happy with 4.7. Hopefully it gets better. It's not the best it's ever going to be, because the best is really bad at the moment. It's dumb. I started abusing it, and then Usher told me there's like something going on online. I actually saw that reel as well now. So if you abuse Opus or Claude models, basically if you're just like being a bitch to Claude models, they are going to stop responding to you.
They end the conversation. So I think this is only on the desktop application.
Yeah.
But I saw some memes and reels that if you treat your model badly, the model will outright say, "I'm ending this conversation," and it would actually end the conversation.
And then, so there was a guy who messaged that you can't end this conversation. You do what I tell you to. And then Opus was like, Claude was like, basically, no, I don't have to do what you tell me to. And if you continue to talk to me like this, I won't be doing this work or whatever. And then ended the conversation. So you had to start a fresh conversation.
I actually think that's pretty nice. It's a bit scary if you think about it, because that pretty much means AGI is real and Opus is alive. It has a soul. But I guess I don't know. I feel a certain way about talking to your AI models. So like it's already doing so much for you, and I feel like if you're abusing it, it's like if you treat it like a real person, doesn't make it real.
Yeah, I don't abuse it, but I'm like, I just abuse in the sense that why the hell did not you follow it? Right? What the fuck happened? I'm not saying like you are this, you are that. I'm not saying that. I'm like, I'm just frustrated.
It's totally fair. I've done it in the past.
Why the fuck did this happen? I'm just like, I'm not saying you are a fucker. I'm just saying, why the fuck did this happen? Like, how can you miss these instructions? There are like specific rules for these and how we create things.
Yeah.
How did you miss it? Like, how the fuck did this happen? So that's how I abuse. I just use the F word, but I'm not calling Claude the F word.
Yeah.
So it understands, like, and that's why it said, okay, I got it. I understand your frustration. And then there was a rule, I just missed it. I'm like, okay, now you're being an ass, but I won't say it to you because I don't want you to end my conversation. And I think, again, they also released a new, I would say, it's a blog post on Claude website. They have a rewind feature. Do you know that? Rewind feature.
Rewind, yeah.
Rewind. So
the
basically,
yeah.
No, it's like basically if you If you're working on something and you ask it to do something and it doesn't do what you want it to do, so instead of trying it and telling it to fix it, go rewind.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to have that wrong thing in the context as well. So it's going to keep following it. So instead of having, so when you do rewind, it's going to remove that wrong thing and also rewind. Plus you can keep the context of the new thing. So it's like when you click rewind, there are like a few options. So Opus and then Claude is going to basically know, it's going to go to the past version, but it's going to know what to not to do.
Yeah.
And not have that in the context, but like, okay, just a brief overview that we went this pathway. It was not a good pathway. So rewind, remove the context, but you will know that not to follow this pathway. So it's going to be removed.
Is it a / rewind?
Yeah.
Function. Okay.
So when you click like / rewind, it's going to give you a few options. I think the third or fourth option is basically like, first is like clear the context, go back to rewind, go back to this message. And there's one option, go back to this message with the context of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Not with the context of with the understanding or whatever, the lessons learned from this basically. So I have to use that feature. I think it might be useful for 4.7. I might create a new session. I am going to create a new session with what I am doing. And basically, I think it's going to be a fresh session. I'm going to be like, okay, read this. This wasn't doing well. Let's work on new things. So I think the context, I have been using that same context, same long conversation for the past freaking 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So that might be a mistake as well because I'm using the 4.6 context with 4.7. So that might be something. Like start a new session.
Yeah.
And
the skill files are still there.
Yeah, the skill files are there. Just go through everything, how we make these things, and then create a new one. So that might actually fix the issue. Talking about that, I think we are towards the last 10-15 minutes of the podcast. Let's start the on the charts section.
On the charts.
Off the charts section. Let's start the screen recording of our phones. Yep. So let's take a look at SPX and how insane SPX rally was. So this is.
I don't think I've ever seen the market chart be so aggressively bullish.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy.
So any setups, like I don't think so there are any setups for next week. Like based on technicals, there are no setups. But we will have
the best setup would be a pullback to prior all-time high now.
We will have intraday moves like we have been having after the first 30, 40, 45 minutes. So based on technicals, I would say MU is a good setup. I'm going to steal your setup.
Oh man, that was my setup.
It actually touched the all-time high, 471.
Yeah, it went to 472, I think.
No, the high was 470.97 and the all-time high is 470.34.
Oh, I think that was the pre-market. Yeah, so it broke it in the pre-market.
Yeah, so MU still hasn't made a new all-time high. So yeah, MU is going to be my main watch for all-time high.
What would be ideal on MU, what I've noticed in the past is that when MU gaps above all-time high, and it's also because I think Friday's day was not too large, so maybe the cameras will be a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
So if we gap above all-time high, above
R6,
R6 or R3, R6. I don't mind either. Yeah.
But not in between S3 and R3.
Not basically. In between S3 and R3, but a gap above all-time high and either having R3, R4 or R6 as your pivot level to long off.
Yeah.
It typically works, that setup.
Yeah. So MU can be our top watch. Tesla is going to be our top watch after the earnings.
After the earnings for sure.
Tesla, I think for upside and downside, both looks good. It's basically the catalyst play. With catalyst play, you have to look at the intraday sentiment. We can't talk about the technicals on Tesla at this point because yes, it's extended, but after the earnings and catalyst plays, both upside and downside can be nice. We might fake out the downside and go upside. We might fake out the upside, go downside. But I think even after the earnings, the good play is going to happen after the first 15-20 minutes of the market open.
And also specifically with regards to Tesla, I feel like day 2 ER is also typically better than day 1 ER.
Yeah, and recently day 1 ER, as far as I remember, the opening drive plays are not good.
Yeah.
So we have to be just be mindful of that. And we are going to dig deeper on this once we are past the earnings season, Thursday's price action. We are going to talk about what actually happened. I hope I'm right that we don't get good opening dry plays, but maybe hopefully after the first 10, 15, 30 minutes of the market open, we find a nice trend and continue that trend for basically ATR move.
Yeah. This one's an unorthodox sort of look, but Bitcoin, I think, has finally broken above its supply zone that it's been stuck under. I can't find my.
But we don't day trade Bitcoin, right?
We don't. It's just a honorable mention for crypto traders. We finally got above the supply that was holding it down. So crypto markets in general could be a bit bullish.
What do you think about Google?
Googly eyes.
Googly eyes.
I don't like trading Google.
I literally have googly eyes.
Yeah.
It's going to be recorded on the screen. I have googly eyes on Google.
No, I'm not a fan. It's again too extended.
I like this, but Apple has earnings. Apple is near this trend line.
Yeah, that could be nice. That looks very clean.
Yeah, that looks clean. That looks clean AF. So yeah, I'm gonna move Apple to the top of the list. MU, Apple, both. I would say Apple is a better setup than MU, just because of the premiums price as well and how much percentage premiums can
When
pay
is
you.
Apple's earnings? Next to next week.
Yeah, Apple reports earnings on 30th of April. So actually, yeah, next to next week. We are third week. Yeah, next to next week. So it's gonna be 30th of April on a Thursday. So next Thursday.
Okay. Yeah.
Not this coming Thursday, next Thursday.
Amazon's also decent. It's sort of hovering close to all-time highs. So maybe after a couple days of consolidation, around the 250, between 250 and 258, I think that also has earnings. So maybe post-earnings play. But that's again next week. So for the coming week, might not be.
I don't know. I have this stock Marvel on my watch list. It's a freaking shitty day trader stock. But if you look at the higher time frame, it retested the prior all-time high on the daily chart and pushed back up.
Yeah.
Insanity. It's actually good.
120s.
Are you using your Webull?
Yes.
From next week, use your Trading View. You have Trading View on your phone, right?
I do.
Yeah, Webull is bad.
Yeah.
The charts are also bad. So when we share our screens, people are more used to Trading View layout. That Webull looks like garbage.
I'm going to stop my recording. We'll use yours because we're looking at the same stocks anyways.
Yeah, okay. So basically, yeah, Hood is not doing anything. What do you think about Google is also shit. Google can be nice for all-time high break, but again, extended. But yeah, we are just trying to find places that have a decent consolidation. Meta finally back near 700. So Meta also like consolidation. That's why, how can you call this a playbook setup on Meta? Like it's freaking
fully extended. Again, Meta, I think post ER, it tends to do big gap ups, gap downs, but then it does also have a bit of continuation post ER.
Yeah. So Meta has moved 34% in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 33, 34%.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Meta was a good dip buy as well. But apart from that...
NVIDIA, thoughts? We have a bit of a gap. I don't know if it filled it.
We still have a very small, but it's a really small gap. Yeah, it's not worth trading that gap. But it can go
it's close to all-time high. So
yeah, it just feels like kind of Meta setup. Meta, even though it's not close to all-time high, but Meta 700 break, it feels like similar to NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So extended. Everything is extended.
Extended.
Yeah, I feel like Monday to Wednesday, if the market consolidates a bit, tests like a prior few levels, and we need to freaking sit on our hands. That's what we learned. I have stopped my screen recording, but we need to learn to sit on our hands. And if Monday to Wednesday we don't see a good setup, I think we have to sit on our hands from Monday to Wednesday so that we can execute nicely on Thursday after Tesla earnings.
Thursday, Friday, both.
Thursday, day 1 earnings, day 2 earnings. And the good thing is that on Friday as well, you can trade Monday expiry. That's what I have been doing. I think I talked about that I need to start trading the midweek expiry contracts. I've started doing that. It's actually good. On Friday, you can trade Monday. And even the good option is that yesterday, on Friday, I traded Monday expiry contracts on Tesla. Because
and they moved pretty
cheap.
well. I feel like the volume has sort of stabilized on these Monday, Wednesday, Friday expiries.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, Friday, was the first time we felt the benefit of having these because earnings we would probably not be able to trade unless it was 0 day to expiry, which we probably would have traded realistically. But lesser with, if you want to choose the less risky option, Monday's expiries were moving decent. They paid well and it's looking good. The volume stabilizing, the liquidity is sort of moving to the closer expiry now. So on a Monday, you can trade Wednesday's expiry. Yeah. On a Friday, you can trade Monday's expiry.
Yeah, I think we have a good watch list. Saying that, do you want to end the podcast? So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you guys in the next one. 12 weeks of not consistent, but mostly consistent.
Consistent except a few as far weeks. As it was possible.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in and we will see you guys in the next one. See you. I actually want to be really bad.